everybody. We'll go ahead and get started. It is September 16, 2025 here at Katy Parola Commission Chambers. Our pledge of public conduct, we may disagree, but we will be respectful of one another. We will direct all comments to the issues. We will avoid personal attacks and speaking without being recognized when we consider it as out of order. And could you do the roll call, please? No. Oh, I was going to get into that. This is with the agenda. This is a to discuss one item only. It is a work meeting, commission work meeting, and this is for city attorney performance.
And we're in Katy Parola Commission Chambers.
Right, we're in Katy Parola Commission Chambers, right? And it's 10:30. Fine. We got the clerk here, so I gotta really be on my toes. With that, we will do roll call first. Or no, pledge of allegiance, and then we'll do roll call. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call, please.
Mayor Chapman?
Present.
Vice Mayor Scalia, Chair?
Present.
Commissioner Bass?
Here.
Commissioner Cole?
Here.
And Commissioner Boswell?
Here.
Okay. Adoption of the agenda. Do we have a motion on the floor to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor in a second. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No opposition. Motion passed unanimously. General public comment. Again, the general public comment, this is a single subject agenda, so if you have any comment, it has to be something other than what's on the agenda. So is there anybody in the audience that would like to comment? Seeing no one, I will close general public comment. We are now at city attorney's performance, the number one item here that we're talking about. And what I would like to do at this time, of course, we're opening it up at the beginning. We're going to go through discussion. The commission will have some discussion. Robert will speak first, and then we'll like give an opportunity for Senator Perry to speak. Then we'll have public comment, open and close. An opportunity for Ms. Perry to also speak right after public comment in response. And then we'll come back to the dais for commissioner further discussion. So with that, Mr. Lincoln, if you could start us off here and discuss a little bit with the commission the nature of the city attorney and our contract with the city attorney. And as you're moving along with that, also I'd like to hear a little bit more in referencing the email that we received last evening from Senator Perry, and the issue of what is being raised with public notice. And so if you could get into that a little bit for us, and then we can all discuss.
Okay. So let me start off with the role of the city attorney. The city attorney is a charter official. It mentioned specifically in the charter in Article 2, Section 3 under appointed officials. And that provision states, the mayor shall nominate and the commission approve the appointment of a city clerk, city treasurer, chief of police, city attorney, city planner, public works director, and building official. Removal, termination, or suspension of an appointed official shall only be approved by a majority of the city commission. So the city attorney, once appointed, is only removed by a majority vote of the commission. The mayor doesn't have the unilateral authority to do that. It has to be done by a vote of you all. But it also means that, and I've scoured the city's code and other provisions. There's no provision in here that says that the city attorney or any of the officials that are listed here can only be removed for cause, which means that at any time that a majority of the city commission feels that would be the best interest of the city to go a different direction with the city attorney. The city commission has the authority to make that motion and make that decision. You do not have to find that the city attorney committed any bad acts. You do not have to find cause or reason to terminate the city attorney or any of the other officials that I identified. It's only a decision that you would make, that it's in the best interest of the city to do something different. Ms. Perry does have a representation agreement with the city. It's very short and brief. With respect to termination, it only has one provision. The city, her representation of the city with regard to her functions will continue until termination upon reasonable notice by the city to the firm or by the firm to the city. And so if you were to decide at any point to take any action to terminate her role as the city attorney, it only requires that the action give her reasonable notice of the date of her termination, of the effective date of that termination. So, you know, whether that could be discussed at that point if it ever came to that, whether that was a date certain, 2 weeks, a month and a half, whatever you decided, I think was reasonable. Turning next to her letter. Notice of this meeting was sent out on Friday afternoon. It was noticed to all the press as well as the commission, to Ms. Perry, to myself. And I would just say that the mayor separately asked me to sit in today as special counsel because feeling it was not fair or appropriate to have Ms. Perry have to sit here and deal with her own performance review. The announcement was actually reposted in the press by the press, and so it's been widely publicly available and known. And we can see that the entire commission is here, Ms. Perry's here, members of the press and members of the public are here. So my recommendation would be that, at least insofar as it comes to holding any kind of public meeting and public workshop related to the city attorney's performance, the notice is reasonable and meets the sunshine law requirements. Ms. Perry raises some specific issues about the adequacy of that, and let me just say that the law, there are cases out there that say that 72 hours notice, that over a weekend notice of a special meeting is legally sufficient. Obviously, those always can be challenged, and the standard is whether the notice is reasonable under all the circumstances. Ms. Perry raised some questions as to whether or not notice was reasonable under all the circumstances, and what I think I would do is say that is split the baby 2 ways. Is that to the extent that you have a workshop today to discuss her performance, that's absolutely, I don't think that there would be any question that was adequately noticed or that it would be subject to challenge if you don't take any action, because if you didn't take any action today, there wouldn't be any action to dispute. If the commission wanted to move from just a discussion to an actual motion to suspend, remove, or terminate Ms. Perry, there might be an actionable question. And while I think that I could say that the notice was reasonable, if there was a lawsuit over it, either by Ms. Perry or by a representative of the public, or one of the public interest organizations that gets involved in this, it could at least be an open question. And therefore, if at the close of a discussion, the commission would want to consider taking, whether it even wanted to consider a motion to take formal action, we could discuss it at that point, but it might be better done at a later meeting. I think that would address the issues that Ms. Perry raised, not only on the sunshine law, but on any question of fairness. I do want to say again that my read on this is that her employment is at will, and that you can, the commission by a majority vote can terminate her with reasonable notice, but can make that decision at any time, and that that doesn't involve due process, therefore violate due process. That said, that again is one of these issues that reasonable minds could differ. A difference of reasonable minds could lead to a lawsuit, and and having some waiting to have a hearing at a different date if you decided to have a motion to consider terminating her would address those issues and take those off the table as well. But it may be premature to go heavily into that, because I think that the agenda that the mayor laid out, or the order of business that the mayor laid out, provides for the workshop discussion, that the discussion at a work meeting that is on the notice, term of art, but I'll be precise, and that we could have a further discussion about what, if anything, you would like to do next at the end of that part of the process.
Thank you. With that, excuse me. I wanted to bring this, of course, before the commission to see what kind of direction, what your questions are. Do you have any questions for Mr. Lincoln at this time, or do you have anything you want to bring up right now with regards? I mean, we have the backup material that has been provided. The minutes from the meeting on September 4th, where we have the email from Mr. Williams on September 9th, and we will be reading into the record a public comment, an email from Mr. Moore. Yes, sir.
I just have a question for Mr. Lincoln, just for my education. So we're talking about a charter official position. My confusion or question is a contract employee a charter official? I'm not sure how to tie those together in terms of some of the questions raised about the public notice. That's all. I'm just trying to square that a little bit.
The city has determined that in the case of some of its charter appointees, and again, you all are charter officials too, right? Because you're the elected officials. We're not talking about the appointed officials. And the appointment can take the form of regular employment or a contract. In the case of the city clerk, she's a regular employee of the city. The police chief, my recollection, to the best of my recollection, is a regular employee of the city. Historically, in my time dealing with the city, the building official, Mr. Gilbert, was an employee for the city for part of the time, and I guess was a contract a contracted person for part of the time. The city attorney and the building official and the planning director have been contract employees, I'm pretty sure, the entire time that I've known of the city, and I think since this setup was enacted. So there's no hard line that says an appointed charter official has to be employed or in any particular format, that either a contract or direct employment is appropriate. If there is a contract, let's say that the contract cannot violate the charter, right? You couldn't have a contract with the city planner, a building official, or the city attorney that included provisions that somehow violated the city commission's right under the charter to terminate that person in that office. But short of that, and I think the reasonable notice provision here in her contract is one that you should respect generally, but obviously it doesn't create a situation where that's a hammer or sword of Damocles that would limit your ability to take that action. Does that get to it?
Other questions?
Yeah, I have
Commissioner
a simple
Cole?
question. According to the charter, how many votes does it take to remove one of our, department heads or, an appointed?
It says a majority, which would be a vote of
3?
it would be a majority of those voting. Let's just say that today, everybody's here, so it would be a vote of 3, and we don't have to deal with the issue of, if there was somebody missing, it would still be 3. If you had 3 people here and it was a quorum, so you had a quorum, there'd be an interpretation fight as to whether it had to be all 3 or whether 2 at a quorum was sufficient, but we don't have to deal with that question today, or maybe in the future, if you take that action, as long as 4 or 5 of you are here.
I
It's
was
3.
just getting to the point of, it doesn't take a supermajority like some of our votes.
I don't see anything in the charter or anything in your code that would indicate that vote, it requires a supermajority.
Just a legal correction, Steve Gilbert, I don't believe was a contract employee. I think we brought him back just as an employee. I think that's how it was treated. For the store, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, just for the record, I wanted to. Thank you. So, I know you've all had an opportunity to read the email from Mr. Williams, and also, I believe that you were also copied on Lucinda's information. Do you have any other questions or comments or concerns right now, or, because I want to give Lucinda an opportunity to talk about this subject. Okay. Lucinda, would you like to come forward? And you can sit right here, or you can stand at the stand.
Sit here and- Mayor, Commission, I'm not usually here, mine's done.
Really?
Mayor, Commission, I'm not going to regurgitate the correspondence that's in your file. I have retained Michael Barfield, who is the preeminent expert on the Sunshine Law and public records. When I generated that correspondence, it was after conferring with Mr. Barfield. We have used Mr. Barfield as an expert of this city, and he and I both are of the same opinion that it is improper to proceed today. You have Mr. Lincoln, who has advised you in a different direction, and that's the beauty of the law. There's always 2 sides of an argument. That's why most of the time you go to court. What this city has always done is taken the strongest position on transparency possible, has always taken the most cautious approach possible when it comes to public meetings and public records. I would expect this proceeding that deals with someone who is in their 21st year of service to the public, who is a charter official, be given that same measure. We talk about reasonable. Is it reasonable to provide me 2 days to respond to the allegations that are out there, work with a state agency through Michael Barfield to produce you an adequate and an intellectual and an open response? My position is no, it is not reasonable. We are talking 21 years. We are talking a city that has held itself out on transparency, on sunshine law, to the point the city spent 6 figures arguing with individuals who ran a shadow government in the city. Not my words, the words of those who handled the litigation. To parade me in front of the public, and in my opinion, it's not just my rights that I'm asking that this city protect. It's the right of our future department heads, charter officials, employees, individuals that we bring in to represent the city. I am pleading this on their behalf. We are entitled to far more than 2 business days to try to secure what's necessary to have a full and open discussion that the public is entitled to. I also would make the statement on behalf of the public. Yes, there's a nice turnout here. I'm sure everybody wants to hear both sides of what is going on. But there are individuals who probably haven't had an opportunity to come in and be a part of this. And you can say the media published information out there. There are statutes in place that say media is not enough. There are requirements that have to be followed. So in my opinion, Mr. Hendricks or the Islander, whoever it is, saying, hey, there's going to be a meeting, that is not sufficient notice to when you weigh it against what is at stake here. I strongly object to the city moving forward, or as Mr. Lincoln said, splitting the baby. The public as a whole deserve an opportunity to be at this meeting if they wish. I deserve an opportunity after 21 years of service and as a charter official to adequately put together the records that are needed. I have hired an expert to do that, and I would like an opportunity to make my case. And I will also say, is it reasonable when I was not even called by anybody personally to see if 10:30 on Tuesday was a time that I was available? I did not receive that. My notice was the same notice the public received, an agenda packet. How is that reasonable? I am not prepared to move forward and address this in a substantive fashion. I still have an obligation as the city attorney, I have not been removed, to protect the public, and I do not believe the public as a whole has received adequate information. And I'm sorry, the agenda itself said city attorney performance. That is vague. What is the city attorney performance? I came here thinking, did I do the legal obligations placed upon me? Meaning, did I respond to a request of the mayor and submit the documents that are necessary? And here, for the first time, I'm hearing, oh no, it is to respond to Mr. Williams. That's being handled. Mr. Barfield is doing the work for that. I'm not prepared today to present a response in regards to that. Respectfully, I would ask that you protect the public and you protect myself, as well as the precedent and future of our employees, staff, and elected officials, as well as charter officials, who are brought up on what now appears to me to be charges. I thank you for your time. I have nothing more to say. I would like to make sure the record includes a copy of the correspondence that I provided to the commission as soon as I found out that this is proceeding forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Commission, have any questions for Ms. Berry? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and sorry, Mr. Lincoln.
I was just gonna say, as you started that, it might be the time to read the letter from Mr. Horn into the record before you start
everybody
bringing.
else, yeah. Terry, could you read that letter to the record?
Yeah, I'm just gonna read it.
Okay.
To the Honorable Mayor John Chapman, Commissioner of City of Bradenton Beach, regarding letter to support for City Attorney. Mayor and Commissioners, as we approach the one-year anniversary of Hurricanes Helene and Milton, I wish to extend my deepest appreciation for the tireless efforts of our City Attorney. Her leadership and commitment during the recovery effort for Bradenton Beach residents and merchants cannot be overstated. She worked diligently to ensure critical supplies were allowed back onto the island, balancing urgent community needs and regulatory obligations. She and the chief were boots on the ground in the face of our city. Her presence and dedication provided stability and reassurance during a time of uncertainty. It was her indicative of love and commitment to the city that she has shown in over 10 years. We have been involved as tenants of the city of Bradenton Beach and before. Lucinda has always been the best interest of her city, as well as she has our full support and gratitude. We all need to come together for what we all want to continue to be the best place to live, work, and play. It will take open communication between public and private, the city, its businesses, citizens, and the tourist friends working together to keep Bradenton Beach on everyone's mind as a great island community. Let's keep the positive momentum coming and keep those dang hurricanes, literal ones and figurative, away from our beloved Anna Maria Island. Thank you for allowing me to weigh in and for your service of our city. John Horn, Chief Executive, Oyster Bar.
Thank you, David. And if anybody in the audience, if you filled out a blue card, you want to take them in order that you received them, Bianca, or do you have them?
I don't have any.
You don't have any? Is there anybody in the audience that has filled out the blue cards that would like to speak?
Lena Williams, Dripped In. I just wanted to say, I think it's very discouraging that we're to this point, after so much devastation that these hurricanes have caused. I wanted to read a statement that my husband and I wrote. Since we purchased the Dripped in 2022, we've chosen to be very transparent on how we improved our business and community, most of which we've shared on social media, so we worked to clean up the image that the bar had in the previous time period. We've done that with the help of our amazing staff and management team and addressed all the issues that a typical island bar has. One thing we noticed early on that is uncanny is the way local business and property owners are pitted against each other. Hopefully, we've shown through our journey that each business has its unique and own attributes. Easements, zoning, ordinances, right-of-way, palm trees, you name it. Each property is impacted individually. The good news is at the Dripped-In, we own both the property and the business. Many don't. Can you imagine being put in the situation where you have to question the attorney of the city that argues your lease on behalf to state and federal agencies? You most certainly must sit on your hands and show support or risk of losing something. Sad but true. So what's next? Do we get another half-hearted response? Are we going to tell us that the attorney will recuse herself again like she did during our quasi-judicial review, only to continue to show up and make comments at meetings when it's been known in the past and shown that she's represented the city against the exact law firm that we hired? Lawyers are to be held to a higher ethical and moral standard. I feel this is not being the case with Ms. Perry. There's a reason we're being dragged into this. We've asked some tough questions. We deserve honest answers. Help us remove the doubt and stop the lies that are doing nothing but pitting businesses against this small institution that we all dearly love. I just ask that we are transparent and that we understand that why, I want the question answered is, why was my husband's name brought into this when we had nothing to do with the Island Oyster Bar's subsequent, allegation against the state? We've proven that. My husband has said that openly. I think that both my husband and I have carried ourselves with professionalism and integrity through everything that we've already been through, and I think we've chosen to continue to try and support Bradenton Beach. We truly want this to be a successful island. We want people to come here, experience everything, and not have someone constantly, on our back. And that's what we feel is we're being targeted. And I'd like to know a reason why for that. So that's all I have to say, respectfully. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gail Looper?
My name is Gail Looper. I'm the owner of Bungalow Beach Resort. A while back, about 5.5 months ago, Ms. Perry was asked to be stepped aside about 5.5 months of delay, after 5.5 months of delays for rebuilding my beach resort, and then Robert Lincoln was appointed. Ms. Perry continued to be copied on key emails showing that she remained involved behind the scenes. I requested her removal because of her inappropriate involvement with a local developer. There has been a pattern of obstruction, delay, and inconsistent enforcement that has severely harmed my hotel operations and my ability to recover after the hurricanes. These delays have cost me millions. The core problem is legal leadership. Ms. Perry continued involvement even after her conflict was formally acknowledged, lined up with legal strategy of delay, shifting positions, and selective enforcements. I respectfully ask that you cease the roadblocks, recognize and protect my vested hotel rights, allow my major development plan and building permit to move forward, require transparent, even-handed enforcement for all businesses, not just those tied to favorite parties. My project was delayed for 5 months, and then my MVP. The city didn't report to the DEP that this is all under Rescinda's watch. City did not report that DEP, that Coletta blocked access to my beach for my property, even though the city assured me that they would. After the hurricanes, the city tried to condemn one of my properties, even though the building official and insurance engineer said the building was safe and met FEMA's 50% rule. The city said that my maximum parking spaces was 17, and after I protested, they conceded and said, that's correct, 17 is the minimum. The city blocked myself from my own property, and even my potential hotel guests, resulting in future losses. They blocked 21 of my grandchildren from my own property, including 9 of my grandchildren in that drive. They blocked my overnight resort fee, and then when they conceded that I could charge a resort fee, but only after I protested that Coletta's 2 hotels directly north of me, they have resort fees. And the city has now blocked the renewal of my hotel exception license, even though I renewed it online 1 month in advance. So for the city to move forward, Ms. Perry's role should end. I'm asking you to terminate her. Thank you.
Before we move forward, I need a copy of anything you have typed or written out on paper. So can I get that, please? I'll make a copy.
Well, it does have some personal notes on it. So can I email it to you? I'll email it to you.
Okay.
Exactly what I said. I just took out a couple personal
That's fine.
accusations.
Just as long as I
Because
have it.
I didn't want to start that here. Yeah.
Just as long as I have it, FYI.
Okay.
Sandy Zyros?
Hi, I'm Sandy Zaris, and I was asked by Mr. Bullis to read an email that was sent to Rescinda so that everybody knows what he's looking for answers on. And my disclaimer is I don't want anybody to think that I agree or disagree. This is what I'm gonna read. The question I'm about to ask you considering there is pending litigation in federal court regarding the subject matter, anything you say may be used against you in this litigation. Do you have a personal or professional relationship with Sean Coletta or anyone at the law firm of Namji Thompson? If so, what is the nature of any relationship? Have you been compensated by Mr. Coletta, Namji Thompson, or a representative of Namji Thompson as an advisor or representative of Bradenton Beach regarding your influence in aiding Mr. Coletta or anybody from Namji Thompson acquiring properties damaged by hurricane natural disasters?
Hold on 1 second, please.
Yes.
Yes, Attorney, City Attorney.
Let me just say that a set of questions from the floor posed to Ms. Perry are not public comments directed at the issues here, and especially given that there's pending litigation, are not appropriate. Again, these could have been flipped into a comment, but they're not in the form of a comment, they're in the form of questions to Ms. Perry, and I don't think they're
I could
appropriate.
have put in comments, but that's okay. All right, thank you.
Derek Williams.
Good morning, Derek Williams from Bradenton. I did not prepare comments. I'm just going to speak again from the heart for a moment. A lot of confusion for me. I continue to share a very consistent message with you when it comes to potential conflicts of interest and the way things are being handled in our community. From the moment I got here through the storms up until this most recent issue, I can't answer you about any report of me contacting somebody over a lease on the city. And I point out my challenge with that, though, is what I'll again say conflicts of interest arise. You know, if I was aware of Mr. Horn's letter to you. I know what the Oyster Bar spoke to me about before I came to you last time. I know my name was directly tied to some type of a blaming situation, which I clearly 1000% know I did not do. I also know that because I've been so public with the things I've done, I've shined a lot of light on our area, and sometimes it seems like around here, folks just want things to kind of handle, below, at a very quiet level. But it's not equal. I mean, an easy example in this very instance is if Resenda was comfortable going and approaching Mr. Horn and Mrs. Sokos about his situations with the Oyster Bar and there was an issue, they had conversations. Those conversations had never come to me up on my business with all the things we were dealing with. I mean, mostly what I received at the time seemed to be more on the lines of threats and pushing me around than it was an actual conversation. So, if we want calm and we want to work together, I'm sure there's folks, have different agendas. But as I said, think about that situation. She's there talking about the lease. She's there the one dealing directly with the DEP, I guess, over whatever the supposed complaint is. So she's negotiating both sides of that. That's a conflict. I don't see, what is Mr. Horn supposed to do? And I'm not putting any words in his mouth. I never even mentioned his name last time, but I look at that, if I was in his position, it's a no-win situation. He certainly isn't gonna stand here and, necessarily support Derek Williams today. He has a business to run down there. And I just think our city can do better than that. And some of the questions that were just listed in that last piece, I saw that ahead of time, and those are very tough questions, very, very uncomfortable, but those are the types of things that we all know that are going around our community. I mean, they need to be addressed for anybody to have confidence in our government, for us to move forward appropriately. So, in closing, I have no ill will towards Resenda Perry. I don't understand why I've been treated the way I have. I mean, honestly, I felt excluded and hated when I got here. I was embraced and loved for a period of time, and then I was pushed back out again. And for whatever those reasons were and how we went through our hearings and the things that had to do with our business and our property rights, we've gotten through that. I would like to be part of a solution and not part of a problem, but there are very difficult questions that I hope that you all do ask each other and answer, and please avoid the hearsay, because that's damaging and defaming to me, my family, and the things that we're trying to do. And I don't think we're doing that to anyone else. So thank you.
Stop, 105 3rd Street North. I just want to express my concerns as a resident, a citizen, a constituent to you all. Perception is such a powerful thing. And right now, I don't know if I'm the lone person that feels this, but my perception has been dropping considerably ever since the hurricane disaster and the month and a half delay of waiting for my house to get approved, whether it met the FEMA regs or not. And I feel the attorney has convoluted how I feel about each one of you, about holding the positions you hold. And I feel damage has been done, and it's a reflection on you, it's a reflection on our city. And I'm not comfortable with it. So I'd like you to consider that, as I feel no ill will to any of you. I have respect for Lucinda Perry, but I feel like the perception and things that have been happening to other businesses in the area just have not seemed fair, and it seemed like some favoritism and overstepping the boundary of legal advice to you versus taking her own responsibility and stepping into positions maybe you should be discussing with the business owners or any person. So thank you for taking it all seriously, but that's how I feel in my perception. So thank you.
Ryan Davis, Bridge, am I on? Ryan Davis, Bridge. Oh, there you go. First time I've done this. Ryan Davis, Bridge Center, and also Yellow Adventures. I've heard some criticism today towards the city attorney, Ms. Perry, and I have to say I don't agree with all of it. I don't know the full circumstances between her and the other businesses I've heard, you know, the Drift Inn and the people who just spoken. But I do know this. We live in a small town. During the tough times, Lucinda was there. You know, after the storm, she showed up, played a key role in getting us through it, getting us back on board. She was been instrumental in supporting both the city and local businesses through tough times. She's done a lot of good work behind the scenes I'm sure we don't know about, often goes unnoticed. But I believe she's made a big difference. I just lost my notes, excuse me. We may not always see eye to eye, but she does deserve some credit, not all blame. I stand behind her, and I appreciate what she's done for not only us, but the community and the city. Thank you.
Anybody else? Wait.
I've gotten old since I came up here last time.
Oh, bring them.
I don't know if I'll be able to walk home.
Jim,
Sir,
Jim. Oh,
we need the blue car.
I was trying to keep it a secret. My name's Joe Smith. I live at 16th Street.
Give your real name.
James J. Hassett Jr., 202 24th Street, Bradenton Beach. Proud resident for 30 years. And still a proud resident. I don't think this event today is kosher. I think any discussion like this should be done in whatever you call privately. I don't think anybody should be run through the ringer like what's happening here today. I very much have thoughts for the individuals that have been or have thought they've been harmed by the responsibilities and reactions and rulings that Ms. Perry has been involved with. However, I think that there's a lot more people that could probably stand here and say that they have benefited from the actions of Ms. Perry. Not only during this very troubled time that we just went through, that affected many, many, many people, from the highest landowners to the lowest people that lost houses. God bless us all. We made it through. We made it through because Bradenton Beach had some pretty tough customers running the show. We were led by 3 people here in City Hall. Many, many supported them. But the mayor, the chief of police, and Resenda Perry saw to it that we got through properly, legally, and with many, many, many hard days of effort. We should never forget that, and I would hope the people that are affected will take a step back and consider, I don't know exactly what it is, 16, 18, 20 years of service, 25, it doesn't matter, that we have been led, some will say from astray. Some will say, thank God that she's been here. If one actually pays attention to what transpires in this city and has transpired in this city, for the people that have stayed up there, they have had one solid influence behind them all these years to take a project, to take a proposal from thought, whether it's citywide or my other favorite, the CRA. She has led those groups to where we are today, with her own hands and feet. And let me tell you one story.
Your 3 minutes is up. If you
3
just-
minutes?
If you can just wrap it up.
Well, you gotta know that I'm a proponent of Resenda Perry's leadership. I have made the comment that she's been our city manager for 15 or 20 years, and we are stronger for it. And I thank you for your work. Now, the decision today, I'll wrap it up. The decision today is not on these people, but it's whether you think that she's done the bidding in a proper way and has benefited the city. It's on you. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Is there anybody else in the audience that had an opportunity to speak that still would like to speak? Seeing no one, I will close public comment. I will give the opportunity now for Resenda Perry, if she has any comments with regards to the public comment, if she'd like to respond or make some comments.
I'm not going to speak to the substance of my character that has, by some, attempted assassination of that character, by some edification. I think that's the beauty of government, and honestly, in light of what has transpired last week, I stand here proud of hearing the communications that have gone on. A number of you, but I've never even met or talked to personally, and I appreciated Evelyn's comments seriously. Perception is important, but I'm not going to get into that. What was on the agenda was city attorney performance. I still, standing here, I don't even know what this is. I don't. I can't adequately respond. What I will tell you is I took an oath to protect Bradenton Beach and to do my job as well as I possibly can. I stand here and believe that I have done that. Have I rubbed some people the wrong way? Absolutely. Don't get in government, as somebody told me, without expecting to have some bricks thrown at you. And I'm okay with that. Certainly, I have had the bar complaints filed and prevailed. I've had the lawsuit that we went through, and Judge Nicholas spent 45 minutes rendering an oral opinion saying that I did my job right then. Over and over, there are attacks that come when you represent the governmental body. And when you are the face of the city, as many have put it, you're going to be subject to a lot of those attacks. I stand here, I will take them every day and twice on Sunday. I believe I've done my job. I do not believe I've done anything but give you my absolute best. I love Bradenton Beach. I will always love Bradenton Beach, and I thank you for allowing me to serve it.
Thank you. Okay, we're back up here on the dais for further discussion, and I'll let Mr. Lincoln comment.
I feel that I need to just address one set of statements that were made, because Ms. Perry didn't. And that is that, while Ms. Luper's attorney asserted that Ms. Perry had a conflict of interest, precluding her from being involved in Ms. Luper's matters, Ms. Perry disputed that and never conceded that she had a conflict of interest that would prevent her from representing the city in that. I've been asked to help with those land use matters, including Ms. Luper's, both the litigation and the matters in front of the boards and commissions as to support Rescinda and her actions, but it has not been because of any formal conflict. And I will also say that with respect to all of the matters that I've been handling, there are a number of things where I have had to confer with Rescinda, who remains the city attorney, to ensure that my advice and my reading of the situation and my attempts to help staff move forward, including Mr. Cerna and Mr. Palmer, are consistent with other decisions that the city has made, and that I'm not acting in a vacuum. And so I just felt the need to address that particular issue because of the way that it was put on the record.
Thank you. Commission, with that, we are again back up here on the dais. What are your thoughts? Mr. Lincoln laid out at the beginning, where we're at and what kind of options that we could possibly have here. What are your thoughts? I wanted to hear from you, Commissioner Bosberg. Can you turn on bring your mic down a little bit towards you. Just lean it in. It'll bend. There we go.
I've been here prior to Miss Perry's association with the city. I think she's absolutely amazing. Her talents, her knowledge, what she's done for the city is just fabulous. I see no problem at all. And I'm sure there's gonna be, I had my own business for a lot of years, so I know where the business people are coming from, but as far as her interaction with the businesses, with the city, I give her A+. And I thank you, Rescinda, for being with us.
Anyone else comments? Commissioner?
I think I agree with Mr. Lincoln that there's such a thing as called due process, even though this isn't a hearing, and that any allegations that are made against Rescinda, that she has a right to defend herself or clear her name or whatever comes. I know Mr. Horn was a part of the most recent allegations, and that he's in Washington, D.C., and he was not able to make this meeting, and he had mentioned that he would have come if he could have. So I think I'm new here, right? I've only been a commissioner a short amount of time. I don't have the established relationship with Ms. Perry that other board members have. Everything that's happened negative, in my opinion, that I can see has been pretty much since the storm. I don't know that I've heard anything negative about Ms. Perry prior to that, and I could be wrong, but I haven't. The issues with Drift-In, that kind of reared its ugly head after the storms. I don't know that we can blame Ms. Perry for any of that, because that's land development code, that's ordinances, that's fire department, that's building official. Those were all issues that had to be addressed by statute and by law, that I don't think we can blame on Ms. Perry. And the same thing goes with anything, and I know we're in litigation with the Bungalow Beach, but the same thing goes. Those were handled in courts of law, those decisions, and those decisions were legally made, and a judge was present, and made those decisions. Both sides were able to argue that. Again, I don't know how that can be put on Ms. Perry. I think we need to be careful and allow for any decision that we make to be fully informed decision and not a one-sided decision, because I think that's kind of where we are right now. I have one side. I don't have any documentation to negate or support anything. It's all kind of he said, she said, and I'm really not comfortable making a decision like that. It's not fair to Derek and what he's told us, and it's certainly not fair to Ms. Perry. So with that, I think that this is a discussion, this is a work meeting, but it certainly isn't a place for us to make a decision.
Anybody else?
Well, first, there's no disputing Lucinda's done great work for the city. Through the hurricanes and everything, she has performed a function and performed it above and beyond what was required of her, but it's what we've come to expect of her. The concern I have, and Debbie just mentioned it, I'm not sure what was said to who. I can't definitively say one is right or wrong. We have information that was provided. It looks pretty damning, but I honestly don't think providing 2 days notice for Lucinda to properly provide a response is enough. So I don't think we should be making any decisions today without providing her the opportunity to respond. I'm not saying Derek's wrong. I don't know. I honestly can't tell you. I can tell you what I've been presented. I can tell you what came through as information to look at. So what I'd like to understand is, Lucinda, who did you talk to at TP? I'd like to know those names, because unless someone up here tells me differently, I'd like to talk to those people to find out what the conversations were and who did what and said what, because otherwise I'm being asked to pick over one person or another, but yet if some of the information is true, then I have a question, because we were given information that may not have been correct. So that then causes me to question, well, what happens in the future? And that's not fair to Lucinda, because I can't make that decision without more information. So I would prefer that we give her some time to provide a response, and then we need to make a decision. But I just don't have enough information that I'd be comfortable making a decision of any kind, because as Debbie, I'm the newbie on this board, and I have no interactions with Lucinda that have been anything but above board. So if there's other information out there, then I'd like to see it so that I can make an informed decision. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Ralph, did you want to go next? Or do you have anything you want to add? Because I can.
First of all, I have no information for even the reason of being here, other than one letter, the minutes of a meeting, which don't accuse one particular person of anything. The minutes say somebody or someone, there's no name mentioned. So all we can act is on hearsay, and I don't think that's right. I think everybody in here that has been before me for any particular reason knows that I'm very fair. Sometimes we need more information. I think that everybody has the right to defend themselves, one side or the other. And I think a weekend is not enough time. So therefore, I would be for absolutely prolonging this. And I would like to see exactly why someone wants me to fire the city attorney. I mean, I can't act on what I read on the internet. The internet is a very bad place. Anybody can say anything. No one has to back it up. It's cruel. And regardless if somebody's done something wrong, it should be proven the right way. And I don't think this is fair to have such a short notice. So I would agree that we need to prolong this, and I need the exact reason why someone wants me to fire the city attorney, period. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. I agree with all of you. I wanted to come here today, have this meeting today. We are, we here for the government. I want to. That's what it's about. Every individual's rights have to be protected, no matter what, no matter who. And we've always tried to do that in the city of Bradenton Beach. I thought your comments, Debbie, were very good. And all your comments, since the storm, a lot of people are still in recovery. A lot was done. Our staff, our Cinda, everybody did an unbelievable job in making sure that all the rules, regulations, FEMA, everything was followed, because we were on their radar, big time. I agree, we need to give her more time to come back to the commission and answer some of the questions that have been posed. It's not tenable the way things are going right now. It's tough. It's tough it's tearing, I know it's tearing Rosendo apart. It's tearing the city apart. All the commissioners, staff. Because we all love our city. We love everybody in it. They have some differences of opinion. You know, that's every small community, and that's because it is our home. It's our neighbors. It's why we want to be here. So I would like to ask Mr. Lincoln right now if we could, how to proceed to get more time, a couple weeks. I know you're going to be out of town starting tomorrow for personal reasons, and I hope you have a great time. But if you could give us an idea, and Terry is here, we can set some time, and Kristen is here, we can set time for the next meeting. Okay. Oh, yes, sir, please.
One more comment. I think everybody should take a look at where they're at today compared to where they were right after the storm. And I know people were damaged so beyond repair, and it's sad. But ask yourself, am I at a place right now where I want to be? And how did we get there? And we as city commissioners have to follow certain rules that are laid out before us, laws, regulations, that maybe we don't necessarily agree with in whole, but they were put into law by people years and years ago. So it's our city attorney's job to guide us in a way that we do follow the law. And right now, here we are. Every time someone has a lawsuit against the city, It's against all the people, all of us taxpayers in the city. We're the ones that foot the bill. So when you go to sue our city, or you go adjudicate any city, remember, you're taking advantage, or not taking advantage, but you're suing the people who live in the city. It's their tax dollars, and it only causes the need to raise taxes. So just one thing I think everybody should think about it. And a lot of hearsay on the internet. Me, I don't read Facebook. There's reasons why, but I just think that if you're gonna do something, we have to have solid, absolute proof, period.
Further comments? Mr. Lincoln and Terry, can we come up with a meeting time, or?
If the commission, if the mayor would like to set another special meeting.
Yes.
To further discuss this, and after Ms. Perry's been able to work with Mr. Barfield, and whether or not it would just be picking up this meeting or addressing any other issues that are out there, we can do that. I will work with the clerk to identify my availability so that you can schedule another special meeting. I don't think this needs to be continued, or should. I think that would be separately noticed and addressed at the time.
Okay. We all understand? We will be scheduling a meeting, and with that, there's no further business. This is a single subject item. I haven't left anything out, I don't believe. The time now is 11:38, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.